Please help support the channel by visiting our Amazon store, affiliate link below.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo, and Florida is always one of those places where you just kind of wait with bated breath for something to come out of it, right? All the craziness in the world comes from Florida. If you hear the term Florida man, you know you're in for something good. This is a Florida story that essentially, I believe, is the antithesis of all other Florida stories, because this person is at the center of a controversy for literally doing their job. Ultimately doing their job. The school board, on the other hand, says something different, but I believe that the teacher probably was doing the right thing. Now, it says here, Florida teacher says she was fired for defying school's no-zero policy. Not a zero tolerance policy, which is what you usually hear, right? Zero tolerance for swearing, for anything. If you screw up once, you're gone. That's always, again, the worst possible thing they could do. But here we've got a situation where they have a no-zero policy, which can basically mean that no one can fail. As if that ever actually benefits the children. It just keeps cycling them through this system that overloads classrooms and makes it so when they actually leave the K through 12 public school system, they aren't fully equipped in order to take on life. College doesn't do it for them either, because that's the excuse they like to give. But I don't want to go off on a tangent completely. Let's take a look here at the story. That says, a South Florida elementary school says she was fired for refusing to give students credit for work they didn't turn in. Port St. Lucie teacher Diane Triado taught U.S. history at Westgate K-8 school until she was fired on September 14th. She told the news that she said it was because her school has a no-zero policy that requires educators to give students at least 50% grade for all assignments, even if the students didn't turn in any work. Okay. So, I mean, I think you guys are right there with me on this one so far. What? Huh? Why is it that a K-8 school would want students to get a 50% grade for not turning in any work? 50% is still failing, by the way. If you just go from the standard A through F scale, 50% is still failing. But even then, the 50%, that grading scale doesn't even come into play until you hit fourth grade traditionally. Before then, I think it's like, what was it? Excellent, satisfactory, needs improvement. Those are the E, the S, and the N, or at least for me. And then when I hit fourth grade, then it was the A through F. That was their grading scale. It's confusing when you're a child. It's also a lot more intimidating, but still, if I didn't turn in any work, I wasn't given a score for simply showing the hell up. It's not like the SATs where you get like 100 points for just signing your name correctly. I don't know if that's even a thing anymore. Now, Triado left a message for her students on a whiteboard and posted a photo of the message to Facebook. She commented that an administrator erased her message, so she wrote it again, saying here, "Bye, kids. Mrs. Tirado loves you and wishes you the best in life. I have been fired for refusing to give you 50% for not handing anything in. Heart, Mrs. Tirado." Now that's kind of a mic drop moment at the end there. Bow! Right? Kind of. I mean, it's as friendly as it is. But imagine if you were the student walking into that class and it's like, she was fired for not giving us credit when we didn't do anything. Okay. So I guess at this point, it kind of teaches the kids that they can almost get away with anything. I mean, truly. Now, WPTV reported that there's no clause mentioned in the letter from the principal since she was still probably in her probationary period. Saying here, I'm so upset because we have a nation of kids that are expecting to get paid and live their life just for showing up, and that's not real. And again, I completely agree with that. That is something we hear a lot thrown at the millennials and whatever the new generation, whatever they're going to be called. You hear about that quite a bit, that they're always given things, they're always handed things. And especially if you go to college campuses now, it does feel like that is ultimately something that comes out of it, right? That they're always given something, granted something simply because they exist. Not that they earned it. And they're teaching this now in a K-8 school in South Florida. And I'm pretty sure that this particular school with the no zero policy is probably something that is in many different schools. And the reason for that is because they're looking for any reason to not hold kids back. right? When I was in college, this even happened with foreign exchange students, because we at the time were paying $11 a unit, and foreign exchange students were paying $111 a unit. So the school instructed the teachers to not fail international students. I'm not even kidding you. The head of one of the departments told me that himself, and he was pissed because he has to sit there and kowtow to these people who come in and they pay more money, and they're told not to be failed. That goes to show you how bad some of these situations are. However, she goes on to say here that on Tuesday morning, Tirado posted saying, the reason I took on this fight was because it is ridiculous. Teaching should not be this hard. Teachers teach content. Children do the assignments to the best of their ability, and teachers grade that work based on a grading scale that has been around for a long time, which is, again, very, very, very true. And this is something that should be disturbing to all parents out there. If my daughter, when she goes to school, comes home and says, Dad, a teacher was fired because she didn't give us 0% for not turning in assignments, I would be like, wait a minute. That seems a little bit off. That doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem fair to your education. And of course, something like this will be argued by the right, and it will be the right, by the way, in order to keep kids homeschooled. I don't believe that's any better, to be honest with you. I think homeschooling, I don't trust it. I trust it less than I trust this, to be honest with you. I don't trust homeschooling. 100%. I'm sorry, I just don't. But to be fair, the district did respond, and they say that there's more to the story. Simply going on here to say in a statement, this Miss Tirado was released from her duties as an instructor because her performance was deemed substandard and her interactions with students, staff, and parents lacked professionalism and created a toxic culture on the student's campus, or the school's campus. During her brief time of employment at Westgate, the school fielded numerous student and parent complaints, as well as concerns from colleagues. Based on new information shared with school administrators, an investigation of possible physical abuse is underway. See, now that's a hell of a thing. That's a hell of an accusation, right? That's a hell of an accusation. Now, a spokesperson did say here that the school's grading policy, talking about it, saying there isn't a policy prohibiting a teacher from recording 0 for work not turned in. So she says that that's the zero policy, or no zero policy. They say it doesn't exist. It's not there. It's not real. By the way, she might have been physically abusing students, right? Like, I'm not going to say, I don't know what is true yet. I don't know what is true. I can't speak to what is true. But I kind of feel like she's going like, look, I'm not going to give students work, I'm not going to give them credit for not doing their homework, which does feel like something you would see in schools, them putting this zero or no zero policy through. Why? Because they want to just keep cycling kids through. They just want to keep cycling kids through, because when they get money from the government, passable grades are a reason. Attendance is a reason. Things like that are reasons that fit into what kind of money they get. And that's one of the reasons why that they make these things a big deal. So if the school is got this no zero policy and they fired her for that, that is really messed up. But the response here from the school coming out saying like, well, she created a toxic culture. She might have physically abused students. What, like, to me, that personally feels like they are just hitting her with whatever they can, trying to smear her, destroy her reputation in order to make sure that she'll never work again. Right? It doesn't kind of feel like that, but at the same time, I want to wait for the evidence to come out. I want to wait for the kind of chips to fall where they may. If other administrators come out and make the claim that she did something bad, I want to see it. If they came out and they said, like if a parent of a student comes out and makes the accusation, that's something I want to see. Or if they say no, that she was perfectly fine with the children, I want that to be there as well. I feel like those accusations are pretty heavy, pretty hardcore, and I really want to see where things go next. But in the meantime, I don't know. My gut's telling me that something's up with the school on this one, because it feels like, how do you go from, I mean, that's just such a blowback statement, right? Oh, she was clearly abusing children, that's why we fired her. Okay. So she was on probation. She worked there for a short period of time. She worked there for a short period of time. And then they said she was, I don't know. I don't know. There's an epidemic. To be fair, there's an epidemic on in schools with female teachers assaulting male students. There is an epidemic, but usually that is taking place in middle school and high school. This is K through 8, so that is middle school age. She was a history teacher. I don't know, but the response from the school is like a nuclear bomb, and I kind of want to see where the fallout goes. But anyway, what do you guys have to say about this? Let me know what's on your mind. Write them down in the comments. If you guys made it this far, type 0 into the chat so I know you guys made it this far. Be sure to thumbs up the video, subscribe, and check back often for more content from me. If you guys like the content, you guys want to support the channel, Patreon's a great way to do that. Links below in the video description. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day, and peace out.